the deal? What is the deal? Make sure you hitting that like button. What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? Make sure you hitting that like button. Already. What's good with you? What's good with you? Already. Already. What's good with you? What's good with you? What's going down? What's going down? What's good with you? Let some more y'all get up in here real quick before we get started. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Already. Already. What's good? What's good? What's the YouTube boy back once again with another sport topic? And today we're gonna talk some football. Houston Texan football. You already know what it is. The Houston Texans walk in their own stadium in RG Stadium. The nine win Houston Texans will go up against the 2-win Las Vegas Raiders. Uh, like right now, I mean, there ain't nothing really be said about this game. Uh, the Raiders is one of the worst, if not one of the worst teams in the NFL. And not only are they one of the worst teams in the NFL, they are the worst offense statistically. They're the worst scoring offense. We already know about the Texans defense, the number one defense in the NFL. My opinion, I think it's the best defense that we've seen in the last at the very least the last 15 years, 10 to 15 years. I think personally that they're the best defense we've seen in the last 25 years. That's just me personally, but you could definitely say for you could definitely say I think and certainly they're the best defense that we've seen in the last 10 to 15. And saying that again, the performance last week against Arizona, beating them by 20 points, putting up 40, holding them only to 20 is really the hang up. I mean, I think a lot of Texas fans are just happy to get the wins, but some people include D'Amico Ryan, you listen to the way he talked after that game, he had issues with their defensive performance, and I agree with him because I said this right after the game on Sunday that this defense is chasing greatness. This defense has a different standard. If this is just a good defense, a decent defense, a solid defense, the Sunday's performance was okay. It was good. It was good enough. It was good enough. But this defense, we're looking at as, like I said, we're looking at it in that same ilk, that same caliber as the the 2015 Broncos, the 2013 Seattle Seahawks, the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the 2000 Ravens, and the 85 Bears. So if this team is in that defense is in that conversation, you can't let Jacoby Brissett throw for like 200 like 240, 50 yards, 280 yards, whatever he threw for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, only got sacked twice. You can't have that type of performance. Now, last year's defense, you had the type of performance, we wouldn't be tripping because, especially if the score remains the same. But the way this defense is, the way we're viewing and looking at this defense, you don't want that to happen. So, again, same thing this week against the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, the Texans are a strong favorite. Like they're even more stronger favorite. Last week they were like I think like a 9-point favorite. This week they're 14 points. They're 2 touchdown favorite. Like this, like that's a college spread. College spreads are that high. NFL spreads barely get over a touchdown, let alone get the 2 touchdowns. So to be that strong of a favorite is, I mean, it's a rarity. It's not like it's uncommon. It doesn't happen a lot. It does happen from time to time when you're in situations like this. I think it's more funny that is that the team that earlier this year was 0-3, and then another part of this year was only 3-5 just a month ago. This Texan team a month ago was 3-5. A month ago they were 3-5. Actually they were 4-5 because they was coming off of the win against they would come off the win against not Tennessee, but against Jacksonville. But a month ago, like a little over a month ago, this team was 3-5, and they starting quarterback was out with concussion and was going to miss an unknown amount of time. End up missing 3 games, and the fact that they are 9-5, they haven't lost since that Denver game is astounding. But we already know that majority of that is on the back of this defense, this all time great defense. So you can't have those type of performances. You have to play better, and you have to put BTA to a team that you're a 14-point favorite against at home. Again, I know you get 2.5 to 3 points at home. So even if you take away the 3 points, you're still 11 point. You're 11 point favorite on the neutral site. You're 11 point favorite on a neutral site. And if Vegas, because Vegas don't got a home field, so Vegas will only in and out good team, so Vegas will only get like the 2.5 point spread. So you're a 9 point spread. You'll be a 9 point spread if you was in Vegas. So you would be a 9 point favorite on the road. So there's no excuse for this game. This defense should definitely go out there and easily handle business. Like I said, there's no excuse. It could definitely go out there. Should go out there and just handle business completely. Just go out there and completely handle business. There's no there's nothing really else to say about this game. Like it's not really much. It's really not much. The Dodgers game. I'm gonna get into the numbers in a minute, but like the Texans really just pretty much got to go out there and handle business. I mean, the Texans right now are chasing Jacksonville. It's a 1 game difference. They're chasing Jacksonville for the division. And like I said, Jacksonville has a 1 game lead. Jacksonville has 10 wins. Texas have 9 wins. Jacksonville lose any game. They play Denver this week. They got Tennessee and they got Indy. Then got Tennessee. That's their next 3 games. If they lose one of those 3 games, the Texans will win the division. They lose to Denver, the Texans win the division because the Texans will have a better conference record. If they lose any of the divisional games, the Texans will win because not only a better conference record, but they also have a better divisional record. But the Texans obviously have to win out in the same scenario because the Texans lose a game, then you're giving the football right back and you're giving the advantage right back to Jacksonville. That's the reason why, because people keep on asking me, are you going to apologize about how you talked about the Texans during the 0-3 start? Did you overblow the 0-3 start? Because we won 9 games and we back in the playoff. We're firmly in the playoffs. Like I think it would be a complete debacle if the Texans somehow don't make the playoffs. Like if the Texans miss the playoffs, it's an even worse debacle than starting off 0-3. Like this should be no way the Texans should not make the playoffs. If the Texans don't make the playoffs, somebody definitely getting fired because that means something completely went off the rails. If the Texans don't, that means the Texans will have to lose probably 2 of the last 3 of this game. The Chargers and Indy, they will have to lose two of the last 3 if the Texans turn around and turn around and not make the playoffs. So I find it very hard that the Texans don't make the playoffs. So people like, do you think that you were a little bit too harsh and too critical of this team? No, because if the Texans would have won one of those 3 games, specifically the game against Jacksonville, the Texans will be leading the division right now. If the Texans would have won one of those, would have won one, probably 2, definitely 3 of those games, which they were all winnable games. But I think with 1, but specifically 2, definitely 2, the Texans will have the home field advantage in AFC. In this AFC that we talking about is not a strong AFC conference. The Texans will be sitting there with #1 seed, hosting every game, have a bye week, hosting every single game, and just complete control of the playoffs. Something the Texans have never been able to do. So the Texans squandered opportunity after opportunity. The only way that I'll put it to you like this, I'll give you this: the only way The only way, the only way I will get on here and say I was too harsh and I was tripping a little bit too much over the 0-3 start. If the Texans make the Texans make the Super Bowl, if the Texans find them way into the Super Bowl, I will say that. Will I still believe that? Actually, probably not, because again, it just happened to be a year where both Kansas City and Baltimore and these other teams really didn't play up to the way they normally play. Because again, if this is like how it's going on in the NFC, that 0-3 would have been completely a season killer, which I thought it was, because again, I was on the mindset that both Baltimore and Kansas City and Buffalo, they was gonna be doing their thing, and then the way Indy and Jacksonville was starting off, and Jacksonville had beat you in that stretch, that that's part of the reason why I felt the way I felt. But I don't care if the Texans get to the playoffs, which they should. I don't even care if the Texans get the division. Also, something that they probably should be able to do as well, because those are things that were supposed to be done regardless. Those were expectations, legitimate expectations. Not everybody we expect to get to the Super Bowl and win it, but we legitimately expect for them to not only make the playoffs but to win the division. Like that was like the thing. We were overall favorite. So just to do that, that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to do that from the jump. You were supposed to do that. You'll get a cookie for doing something you were supposed to do from the jump. Now, if you get to the Super Bowl, then I'm like, okay, hey, that 0-3 start didn't affect us none. Maybe it made us even more hungrier. Maybe it made us focus a little bit more. I don't know. But back to what I'm saying, these last three games, they definitely obviously matter, because, like I said, the Texans, they're in a fight with Jacksonville, unfortunately, for this division. And Jacksonville has a game lead. And luckily for the Texans, Jacksonville does have Denver this week. And then after that, they have Tennessee and they have Indianapolis. And I mean, Indianapolis in Tennessee. And I don't know what version of Indy they're gonna get. I don't know if they're gonna get a Phillip Rivers. I mean, you hear talks of them talking about Anthony Rizzo. They is being back at practice, or it's about to be taken off the pup list and possibly be activated on practice, and could potentially be playing against the Texans the last game of the season. There's a lot of things going on over there in Indy. So Jacksonville, after this Denver game, if they can get past the Denver game, Jacksonville probably, for the lack of better words, probably steal the division. So, and then the Texans will be forced to go on the road, because you lost that game against Jacksonville in Jacksonville when, when the 0-3 start apparently did not matter. So, let's get into the numbers of this game against the Las Vegas Raiders. So, on the season, CJ Stroud is 200 has 220 completions off of 337 attempts, completion percentage of 65.3. He threw for 2,400 yards, 24, 4,100 yards. He has 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Willie Marks on the season has carried the football 167 times for 584 carries, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Has 2 rushing touchdowns, but also in the air has given you 21 receptions for 204 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Nick Chubb, who was back at practice, so Nick Chubb might be a go this week. Carried the football 115 times for 472 yards for 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And Joel Jordan made his NFL debut last week against Arizona. We all know he did the only 100-yard game of the season, the first and the only 100-yard game from a running back this season. He carried the ball 15 times for 101 yards, averaging 6.7 yards a carry. And, again, looked extremely dynamic. I actually want to talk about that possibly in another video, about really what Jawar Jordan really brings to the table. Nico Collins on the season has 24 catches for 1,001 yards, 6 touchdowns. Again, 3 straight years with 1,000 yards. Only Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins for Houston Texans have done that. Those are the only 2 receivers besides Nico Collins, and now Nico Collins, that have had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Dalton Schultz, who's having a monster season. Dalton Schultz has 70 catches, which ties Owen Daniel for the most catches by a tight end in a season for the Texans. So one more catch, he has the most catches for a tight end in the season, 650 yards and 2 touchdowns. Higgins has 36 catches for 397 yards and 4 touchdowns. Xavier Hutchinson has 27 catches for 100 for 319 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that's what it looked like for them on the season. Now, when you go look at Vegas aside, like I said earlier, if not the worst team in the NFL, clearly the worst offense. This offense is absolutely pathetic. Geno Smith has 666 completions off of 397 attempts. Completion percentage is only completion percentage 67. So sometimes when you be seeing them high completion percentage numbers, because they can manipulate with a whole bunch of screens and stuff like that. But like, he has a 67 completion percentage. He's done for 2,648 yards. Has 16 touchdowns. 16 touchdowns. But also has 4 interceptions. He's more than double with CJ Stone for interceptions. Like, he's 2 interceptions away from having the same amount of touchdowns and interceptions. So he only has a 2 touchdown better than interceptions. Like, his interception touchdown ratio is horrible. And again, still throwing for 67%. That's kind of crazy. Kenny Pickett finished the game last week and more than likely might actually be the starter for the Texans. He has 25 completions off of 39 attempts for 64.1 completion percentage. Has 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So again, a lot to write home about when it comes to Kenny Pickett. Now, remember, Vegas, I can't remember if they moved up, but they drafted Austin Gentry with the 6th pick in the draft, and tried to get a dynamic a running back that was very close to breaking Barry Sanders' record. It was a good running back in college, and they're trying to add some juice, especially with them having Brock Bowers trying to add some juice onto their team. It didn't really work out that well. Austin Gentry has 200 carries for 700 yards, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. Now he does have 4 touchdowns. I kind of think of that of like goal line situations and stuff like that. I don't really know how much he's actually getting to the end zone without a lot of help in receiving threat. He has 49 completion, 49 catches for 266 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's actually been more available, more effective in the receiving threat as he has as a running back. Again, they drafted him to be a bell cow running back. Tight end Brock Bowers has 59 completions off of 59 catches off of 647 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tucker is caught the football 46 times for 57 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then, like I said, we already know that Gentry has 4 touchdowns. And that's kind of pretty much sums up their whole touchdown issue because that's 15 touchdowns right there. Right there, that's 15 touchdowns. Because 4 plus 6 equals 10 plus 5. That's 15 touchdowns. There's only Geno's only had 16 touchdowns, and then Kenny Pickett has 1. So they only have an additional 2 touchdowns from a team perspective on the receiving threat. Like, again, they can this offense is just that bad. Like, the Texans have the best defense in the NFL, scoring defense, yard defense, all the different type of stuff. Texans scoring defense is 16.5. Oh, I think it's like 16.3. I'm sorry. Vegas's offense has 16.1. So their offense scores less than what the Texans, the number one defense, is giving up. That's how bad and putrid this offense is. It's Brock Bowers, they're force feeding Gentry, and then Tucker because they led Jacoby Myers. They traded Jacoby Myers to Jacksonville, and he's out there balling for Jacksonville. So, like, this offense is not a good offense. Like, this offense is not a good offense. I mean, this game here, man, I hate to say stuff like this, but like I said last week, this game has to be comfortable. This game might need to be comfortable, right at halftime, coming out of halftime, but definitely in that fourth quarter. And like, I would accept it against last week that, hey, it could be a touchdown game, and then in the fourth quarter, something happened, they end up like with 10 minutes left to go, 8 minutes left to go in the game, they have enough to be up by like double digits, and we can just kick our feet up and just chill. This game here, I feel like it shouldn't even get that close because of how putrid this offense is and how elite this defense. Like this defense is really elite. So they should be able to handle this offense quite easily. And I hate to sound like that and talk like that and be like, "Oh man, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna shut them down, we're gonna blow them out. They ain't gonna get no points." I don't like doing that type of stuff, so I'm not gonna do that. But I don't really see exactly what Vegas can actually do. I don't. I don't know. I don't know exactly what Vegas actually could do or should be able to do. Like I mean, like it. Like it's not a good game. I mean, like this offense is bad. It's the worst scoring offense, worst rushing attack, and they drafted a running back 6 overall. Like it's just not a good. It's just not a good football team. And to be honest, I don't think they want to be a good football team. I think we've gotten to the point now where teams want to lose. We're at that junction of the season. I think fan bases have been like that probably since mid-November, mid to early November, like depending on what your wins were, if you were a 1 or 2 win team at that time, your fan base probably up for the most part, they looking at mock drafts. Like legitimately. Like, I've done a couple of mock drafts. I ain't gonna say back, I ain't been doing a mock draft. I did my draft earlier. Like I do my draft time to time. I like to see the players fall and think about talent and also start trying to get a jump and start watching some tape early, watching actual college games. I was watching the Oklahoma Alabama game before I came here, like watching games so I can actually get a feel and understanding for some of these guys that come out. So when the draft, so when people are firing names and all the different type of things, people are rising and lowering on the board. I've been evaluating them and had tape on them, and I also know who to look for, uh, specifically in certain different situations. But I think now we're to the point where Vegas and the teams themselves, they looking around, they looking at, what I'm saying, they looking at their stadium, they looking outside, they looking like, "Yeah, we ain't got it this week. I mean, we ain't got it this year. Like this is realistically not yeah, but hey, we're gonna pull over here and we gonna, what I'm saying, we're gonna pull over here, we're gonna chill a little bit, but like, yeah, yeah, we might well just wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up, and let's go out there and let's prepare for the draft and let's get some juice. Let's get some players on this team. Let's get some playmakers on this team. That's what I think a lot of teams at this point of the season. And sometimes you might win because players obviously don't get that win. The players obviously don't get that memo. I said memo. It's a memo. Obviously, don't get that memo, and like they go out there and they still go out there and try to win. Hence, Davis Mills, week 17 in 2022. Again, it worked out well for us, but hey, it couldn't have. I mean, I always say that. What if Carolina would have took CJ at number 1? Now you're stuck with Bryce. So I mean, it's a snowball effect. All different type of things start happening. Definitely a chain reaction. So again, is what it is. But man, like I said earlier, the Texans are a 14-point favorite at home. If it's on neutral site, it'd be hmm, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really think. I know, like I said last week, I said I think the game might be comfortable. I want it to be a comfortable win. I don't. I really don't see this game having a need to be close. Like if this game is a close game, I think it's issues. However it is, if it's a shootout and it's a close game, you looking at this defense funny. If it's a close game, the defense handling it up, but the offense isn't doing it. Like I mean, the offense is not flipping the field. If the defense is dominating, but it's still a close game, that means the offense ain't flipping the field. So the offense, they're not doing that. They're not holding up that end of the bargain. But I just don't, like I said, I don't really see this game being a close game throughout. I got the Texans winning 20-10. I'm sorry, 31-10. I'm sorry, I don't know where I got 20 from. I had the Texans winning 31-10. I have the Texans winning 31-10. That's why I Texans win 31-10. I just don't see. I don't really see how this game could be really close. I really don't. I don't. I mean, I think the Texans offense should be able to move the football easily against this Vegas defense, and I think the Vegas defense is going to be able to dominate, especially if somebody like Kenny Pickett going to go out there and throw 3 picks against his defense, against these Will and Daniil coming from each side, and that open things up for Stingley. I think Stingley's going to play. Stingley been dealing with that oblique since week 1. So I think Stingley gonna play. So I mean, you got Stingley, you got Kamara, you got Jalen Petrie getting interceptions, you got Bullock making plays. I think if David Clowney plays the way people thought he was, I think that like the thing is, I think if Kenny Pickett is out there, it don't matter who we have out there rushing the passer. It don't matter if we could have had David Clowney out there. It wouldn't even matter. I think this Texan defense will go out there and they will dominate against Kenny Pickett and his offense. Especially Geno Smith. To be honest, I actually might rather Geno Smith because Geno Smith done threw 14 interceptions. So, like Geno Smith done threw 14 interceptions this season. So I probably would rather have Geno. But Kenny Pickett, like I said, Kenny Pickett go out there, he gonna throw. Kenny Pickett, it's in his name, is gonna go out there and throw interception after interception just in the name alone. When you got, like I say, Kamari Lassiter and Stingley and all these people on the backside, especially with these edge rushers, like I said, it didn't matter if you did have a Jadeveon Clowney who didn't get to the quarterback like that. If he was on this defense and playing to that level, he would still go out there and throw interceptions because the way this defense is set up, and the way that these quarterbacks are just not good quarterbacks. I don't care that they're throwing for 67% and 64 completion percentage. It don't even matter. It really don't even matter what their completion percentage is. It don't even matter. It really don't. Like it really truly don't matter what their completion percentage is. Like when your quarterback is throwing, like your quarterback has 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. And those touchdowns are amongst 3 people. Genty has 4 touchdowns. Brock Bowers has 6. Tucker has 5. So it's really, you have to stop Brock Bowers. Now, I know last week we let McBride catch the football all over the yard. He had 100 with like 30 some yards and he had 2 touchdowns and 1 touchdown. How many touchdowns did Brock Bowers have? I wrote it down. How many touchdowns did Brock Bowers have? What did Brock Bowers have? I thought I wrote it down. I thought I wrote down how many touchdowns Bras had. Yeah, I did. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. Not Broad Bras, but McBride had 12 receptions for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I think Brock Bros is a better tight end. I do. But I don't think that the combination of Jim Smith or Kenny Pickett is as good as Jacoby Brissett. So I don't see Bras having that type of game. And also because of McBride having the type of game that he had, I think that Brock Bowers is the D'Amico Ryans is going to make it a point to shut him down. So he's not going to have that caliber of game. I think the D'Amico Ryans was disgusted with the type of game and performance that his defense had last week. Because like I said on here last week after the game, that This defense is chasing greatness. This defense, we're viewing this defense as an all-time level defense. So since we're viewing this defense as an all-time level defense, as an all-time great defense, you can't have McBride catch 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you give up 20 points, and you allow Jacoby Brissett to have 249 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. You can't do that. I think this defense is going to get 3 turnovers at least. I think they're going to get like 2 interceptions, a fumble. I think this defense is going to turn the football, force a couple takeaways, and I don't really see this offense really doing anything. And like I said, I think this game here, the Texans just got handled business, and again, a close game is a disgusting game in itself. Now, when you look at across the league, some other matchups this week, we have Philly versus Washington. I told y'all before last week, Washington and the Giants are two teams that the Texans should be rooting against because the Texans have Washington's second round pick and Washington's fourth round pick. And the Texans also have the Giants' third round pick. So wherever these teams fall in the draft, that's where you're picking it. Because I think Washington gives you the, as of right now, as it's currently constructed, I think Washington's giving you like the seventh pick in the third round, seventh pick in the second round, and in the fourth round. And uh when it comes to the Giants are giving you, as of right now, the Giants have given you the second pick in the third round. So again, we obviously want these teams to continuously lose because that obviously help our draft stock and status. But Philadelphia at Washington, even saying all that, I think I'm gonna go with Washington. I don't know. I just feel like I think Washington. I don't think Philly is out of the woodwork when it comes with Dallas. I think Philly ultimately still wins that division because I just don't think Dallas is gonna have enough time. But I think they're gonna hold off for another week because if Philly wins, the division's clinched for them. They win, the division's clinched. I think it gets pushed back for at least another week. So I have Philly, at Washington beating Philly. Green Bay at Chicago, and then both of these games are tomorrow. Both of these games are Saturday. Now, just about 2 weeks ago, Chicago beat Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay beat Chicago in Green Bay, but barely beat them. This time, I'm going with the shot. I have Chicago defeating Green Bay on Saturday. Buffalo at Cleveland, kind of a similar situation to what we got here. I think Buffalo beats Cleveland. The Los Angeles Chargers at Dallas. Like I said, if Philly wins, they automatically win the division. But even if Philly loses, if Dallas loses, Philly automatically wins the division. I think, like I said, I think it's gonna get pushed back for at the very least another week, maybe even last all the way to the last game of the season. But I think it's gonna get pushed back for another week, even though I do think Philly's gonna still win the division. I have Dallas defeating the Chargers. KC at Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins. I think Tennessee gets their third win of the season. Um, Cincinnati at Miami. They just benched Tua. Will that via spark? No, because it's Quinn Ewers. I have Cincinnati beat Miami. The New York Jets at New Orleans. I think I have New Orleans defeating the New York Jets. Minnesota at the Giants. I have Minnesota defeating the Giants. Tampa Bay at Carolina is the first matchup. They have another matchup week, the final week of the season. I think, I was thinking, the Texans ended that game might be a game to get pushed, get flexed for a game, especially with the injury to Daniel Jones. That's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Even if that game actually do still mean something for both teams, I don't think that game gets flexed because I think it's other games that are more entertaining. If I'm not mistaken, I think Seattle and and the 49ers play again. Like I said, I know um I know these two teams, Carolina and Tampa Bay, play again. And there's another game. Oh, the Chargers and Denver. Because that game might be for the division as well. Because the Chargers have already defeated Denver. So again, if they just an arm's length and they beat them, they will have the season sweep against them. So but anyway, I digress. Carolina, Tampa Bay at Carolina. I have Carolina winning. I think Carolina comes back and win that division. I think Carolina wins the division. So I have Carolina defeating Tampa Bay. Uh, the Falcons at Arizona. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Um, Pittsburgh at Detroit. I don't think Detroit gets into the playoffs, but I think they get very, very close. I think they get right to they get right to the edge. They get right to the last week of the season. Fight for that. So I have Detroit defeating Pittsburgh. New England at Baltimore. Hmm. I'm gonna take Baltimore. I think Baltimore defeats New England. Uh, Jacksonville at Denver. I'm going with Denver beating Jacksonville, and then the Monday night game, San Francisco at Indy. I'm gonna go with San Francisco beating Indianapolis. So just to recap, I have Washington beating Philly. I have Chicago beating Green Bay. I have Buffalo beating Cleveland. I have Dallas beating the Chargers. I have Tennessee beating the Jets. The Jets. I'm sorry, the Chiefs. Tennessee beating the Chiefs. I have Tennessee beating the Chiefs. I have Cincinnati beating Miami. I have New Orleans beating the Jets. I have Minnesota beating the Giants. I have Carolina beating Tampa. I have the Falcons beating Arizona. I have Detroit beating Pittsburgh. I have Baltimore beating New England. I have San Francisco beating Indy, and I have Denver beating Jacksonville. That's what I think is going to happen this week. And when you look at the playoffs, remember the Texans, they back in their playoff mix. Right now, the number one seed is AFC number one seed is Denver. NFC number one seed is Seattle. Division leaders is New England, Jacksonville, and Pittsburgh for the AFC. And the NFC is Chiefs. I'm sorry, Bears, Philly, and Tampa Bay on the division side for the NFC, and the three wild card teams for the AFC is the Chargers, the Bills, and the Texans. And the NFC side, it is the Rams, the 49ers, and Green Bay. So if the season will end today, the playoffs will start tomorrow. Both Denver and Seattle has buys. Houston, we would travel to New England. Buffalo would travel to Jacksonville. The Chargers would travel to Pittsburgh. Then on the NFC side, Green Bay will go to Chicago. San Francisco will go to Philly. And Tampa Bay will go, not Tampa Bay, but the Rams will go to Tampa Bay. That is what the numbers look like when it comes to when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to the standings. Like I said, the Texans are in a dogfight. They're right there in the dogfight, in arm's length of Jacksonville to go out there and potentially get this division away from Jacksonville, but they only a game back. Uh, like I said, the AFC is wide open. Like this is a year that almost any of these teams, like I think the only real team that don't really have a chance, I think, to like get through the AFC that's in this playoff picture is Pittsburgh. If Baltimore gets in, then I think all 12 teams. Obviously, I feel how I feel about the Texans. The Bills. I mean, maybe somebody else. Like maybe the Bills. The Bills might maybe they don't have to face Houston. The Chargers, if Justin Herbert looks like any of the potential they've shown the years when he's thrown for 5,000 yards and things like that, maybe so. Uh, like I said, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. No, Jacksonville. I mean, if things break their right way, they got a home game as a right. Yeah, same thing with New England. Same thing with Denver. Like if things break their way, they can definitely make some noise. And same thing in the NFC, but then the AFC is a little bit different because it's definitely more wide open in the AFC than it's ever been. Because there's no Tom Brady, there's no Peyton Manning, there's no Ben Roethlisberger, there's nobody just standing in these teams' way. There's nobody standing in these teams' way from a quarterback standpoint. I don't care what's going on. Yeah, from a quarterback standpoint, they do not have the firepower and they don't have the staying power. And I think this is, like I said, this is the most wide open it's ever been to get to a Super Bowl. This is the most wide open it's ever been. Completely wide open. Oh yeah, yeah. Jacoby Myers just got a contract this week, huh? He just got. I know it was 3 years. I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. But I'm glad when you said Jacoby Myers get paid. I mean, he's changed their offense. Like Jacoby Myers is made their offense a difference. Like he really has. He's made the Jags offense. It's a completely different offense that we seen both week 3 and what week did we beat them in? We were 3-5, and we had bye week. So what, week 7? Yeah, week 7. No, oh, take that back. Take that back. Week 10. It was week 10. My bad. Week 10. Like, so week 3 and week 10 is two complete. Like, they're playing completely different style of football. I feel like we are too. I think we're a little bit more crisp and more sound on offense than we were back then. We potentially maybe found like a diamond in the rough running back and running attack, kind of very similar to like how they found people like Dominique Davis, one of my favorite Texas running backs. What's his name? Arian Foster, Steve Slayton. Steve Slayton. They drafted Steve Slayton. Steve Slayton in this equation will actually be Woody Marks, because like he's somebody you drafted, and then because of circumstances, end up being the primary back in the rush for 1,000 yards. Now, Woody's not rushing for 1,000 yards. I mean, he's right at 4. He's right at 600. So he's a little over 400 yards away. He's like what, 416? He's 416 yards away from getting 1,000 yards. Hmm. I'm like, Willie Morris actually could get 1,000 yards. So like I said, I know Steve Slayton got 1,000 yards this rookie year. So like I said, he could be he could be Willie could be this version of Steve Slayton. Because Steve Slayton went on the practice squad. Steve Slayton was drafted out of West Virginia and ended up playing, and then ended up taking a bigger role as the season progressed and went along. But I don't know. Like again, obviously he was the primary back. The Texans felt need to go out there. Luckily, they had Aaron Foster as an undrafted free agent. They still went out there and went and drafted Ben Tate because they didn't even know what they had Aaron Foster. So, and that could be this. That could be the Texans this year because they might not know what they have in Jawan Jordan, but just a little bit. Because again, same thing with Aaron Foster. Aaron Foster in 2009 started the last 3 games, and I think he had 100 yards in all 3 of those games. But the Texans organization still felt the need in the second round to go out there and draft Ben Tate. So because they didn't know, and then Ben Tate breaks his foot. Aaron Foster completely dominates and takes over that 2010 season. In the 2011 season, we run both of them, and they both was getting hurt. It was just like a whole bunch of stuff. But Willie Marks, yeah, I think he's more comparable to the, like I said, to that Steve Slayton type of role. But you have Wally Lundy. Like you have a lot of running backs that the Texans have been able to utilize off the practice squad and turn them into the middle of the season or in the season. They've been able to get some production out of it. Now, it hasn't ever really been long term success because your long term successes have always been off of trading for somebody, not really off of drafting them or off of your practice squad. Because man, Aaron Foster was an undrafted free agent. He's your all time leading rusher, but the other people, but yeah, yeah. So it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But um we'll see exactly how they're able to do what they need to do. But like I said, I just think this game here, like I said, it's really just not a lot to talk about when it comes to anticipating this game. The Texans should go out there and handle business, and hopefully, Denver handles business for you against Jacksonville, and then now the Texans are in complete control and just sit back and just win out, and they have their third straight first ever in franchise history, third consecutive straight season, third straight second season of winning the division. So hopefully that's the case because that's I again I don't want to go into Pittsburgh. I don't want to go into New England. I don't want to go into Buffalo. I don't want to go into Denver. I want to be an NRG as long as possible, as much as possible in the playoffs. That's what I want because I think that's going to give your team the best chance to win. You won't be out there when it's cold and it's snowing, and it's raining, and it's wet, and the ball flipping and flapping and slipping and slapping out of people's hands. You don't want that. You don't want that. I want good, clean football when my team is out there, so I can go out there. My team can handle their business, and we can go out there and win the game. I know our defense can handle in those conditions, but what about the offense? Can the offense handle in those conditions? I don't know. I have no idea. Don't really know. And I don't want to find out because I want the offense to be at home. I want the Texans to go out there and win the division. That way we ain't got to worry about it. It won't even be a talking point. We won't have to worry about it. None whatsoever. Man, appreciate everybody that came through here, man. Definitely appreciate all the love. You ain't hit the like button already, man. Make sure you hit the like button. I've seen more people jumped up in here from time to time to time, but the likes ain't going up. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm gonna give you some time right now. Make sure you hit the like button right now. I'm gonna give you some time. All right, already, man. Hey, man, appreciate everybody coming through here. I'm gonna give you some more time because you ain't hit the like button already, man. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some more time. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some more time. Make sure you hit the like button. Already, man. Appreciate everybody came through here. Remember, immediately, this time immediately, but no, this week game is late because this game is at 3:25, and the Jags and Denver game is not even the noon game. The Jags and Denver game is at 3:05, so they 20 minutes difference between us, but it's starting similar around similar time. So again, the Texans play at 3:25 on Sunday. 3:25, 3:25. So immediately after the game, make sure y'all pull up right here. Immediately after the game, we're gonna break down exactly what we're seeing because hey, the Texans should have handled their business. Again, I have the Texans winning 30-20. I mean, sorry, 31-10. I don't really think it's gonna be a close game. It should not be a close game. If it is a close game, some problems I think are had to occur, and we definitely going to talk about. But I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think the Texans go out there and handle their business as they should. They're a 14-point favorite. Go out there and handle business because they're gonna play next Saturday against the Chargers. Go out there and handle business, and the Denver handle the Texan business against the Jags, and now the Texans will be out there, like I said, in the catbird seat, sitting pretty, ready to be able to cash in that AFC South Division Championship check because it's gonna be right there. It's gonna be completely right there. It's gonna be right there for them to be able to cash it in and call themselves the reigning, defending, undisputed AFC South champions. Because my name is Spitz. And for the last 20 years, I've been out here talking about these old Houston Texans. Actually, 20 plus. Actually, 20 plus. What about 23? 23 years? Yeah. Yeah, about 20. Maybe 22. Yeah, about 22 years. 22, 23 to 22 years. So we we gotta have something to root for. And again, we can't just be up here talking about AFC South championships because at the end of the day, we need to get to the division title. I mean, we need to get to the AFC championship game and then really get to the Super Bowl. That's really what we need. That's really what we need to get to. Like, subscribe, have a comment below. If you haven't clicked that bell, get more videos. Holla.